I went to a Simple Plan concert, so, 'cause I'm cool. That goes without saying. Only cool people go to the 15-year Simple Plan reunion concert, so naturally my fingernails are black, like the dark, devious soul of this kinky individual.
This is where something called pervertables come into play. Blindfold your partner, and you can actually do some tickle torture. Some people do enjoy playing sexually when it comes to puppy play. What kind of dog breed would Grace be if you guys played? So now let's talk about gear. A hood is one of the best ways to get a puppy into headspace. And what's a puppy without a tail? And tails also come in different kinds of shapes, sizes, and
I'm just kidding. Amp's soul isn't black. It's obviously rainbow and fluffy like a gay puppy. Did you like that? Has your attention been grabbed? Everyone's seen sex toy reviews on YouTube before, right? Been there, done that, But how many of you have explored pervertables, tickle torture, and or puppy play? Anyone? Yeah? No? Maybe? Well, today I have Amp, a handsome man who is quite knowledgeable and immersed in the kink community. He has kindly agreed to walk us through some erotic tools I just had shipped to my house. So strap in or strap on, whatever you need to do. Let's get into it. So the first thing I got in the mail was this huge kit. It has BDSM things, it has handcuffs, it has a restraint system, and a whip, and a paddle, and and look how intense this is. Like, I like this. This is like legit. Look at all these features. So while I happen to be super pumped for all these things, I definitely recognize that ordering items like this online or picking them out in a store can be a bit intimidating or maybe awkward, perhaps a little expensive, and etc. So Amp, my first question is, for people who aren't ready or don't have the means to get this kind of official gear, are there ways they can safely make their own restraint systems, cuffs, toys, paddles, etc. with things they might already have around the house?
Going to a sex store, going to any sort of sex shop to buy toys can be really intimidating, it can be really awkward. People that work at shops are nothing but like accepting of your kinks, they're nothing but helpful, and they're nothing but wanting to help you get the toy that you're looking for. However, this is where something called pervertables come into play. Pervertables are household objects that can have multiple purposes. Ties are great pervertables, and they're long enough that you can do a pretty simple like hand restraint, tie someone to a bed, get them into a position. In the right sort of devious mind, any sort of household object can be a pervertible. Hand brush, clothespins, even something as simple as ice cubes. You can run that along your partner's body as they're tied up. Pervertables are a nice, easy way to get someone into a kink mindset. So they're familiar with what they are already, and giving it a second nature or a second purpose can be a nice, easy way to get them into that bedroom. And actually, funny story, I could probably count the number of people, at least on one hand, that have used a wooden spoon or some sort of cooking utensil to the breaking point. So just be careful with pervertables.
I also got a tickler and a blindfold because I think isolating and playing with different senses can be fun in bed. Since you're the expert, do you have any ideas or suggestions for how I can put these tools to good use?
Oh, I have lots of ideas. So blindfolds are a wonderful tool just to block that one sensation, that sight. And so that blindfold might be the perfect experience to get your partner to really focus on what's going on. Especially when you're getting into some kinks, overstimulation can happen and it can make the experience not as enjoyable. But before you get that tickler involved, you could blindfold your partner, maybe get some other toys or objects and run that along your partner's body and have them guess or kind of figure out what the object is. If they're able to guess it right, they get a reward. And if they guess it wrong, well, I'm sure you're devious enough to come up with a punishment. Along the same lines, while they're blindfolded, you could give them different kinds of food and have them guess and see if they're able to actually figure out what the food is and follow the same punishment reward system. But to get the best out of your tickler, blindfold your partner and you can actually do some tickle torture. Or maybe you could tie your partner up, blindfold them, and then give them a history lesson. Tickling was actually used back in the Han Dynasty to torture nobility because they didn't want to leave any marks. And in the same way, tickling is a wonderful kink because it doesn't leave any marks at the very, very low, light sensation touching. It's a good kink to mix in with that blindfold because it can be slowly light, it can be fast and brutal. It's something that's fun, causes laughter, and it's really hard to stay mad when you're being tickled.
Next, I got a leash and a collar. And honestly, I don't even have the first clue how to use items like this. I don't think. Do I? I don't know.
So personally, I really enjoy collars. I love collars. I always wear mine 24/7. Things like a collar and a leash can help someone get into a submissive headspace, especially if someone else is holding the other side of that leash. Flip it around. If you were, say, holding the leash and collar on someone, it gives you kind of a heightened sense of dominance. As you're holding onto that collar, you're taking control of the situation. You can lead someone around on a leash. You can even tie them off to the bed as you are having a good time. Kind of up to your own imagination, but there's lots of different ways you could use that collar and that leash. You could even tie them up with it.
Now your channel covers a lot of information on puppy play. Can you break down what that is for me a bit? What does it look like? What makes it so fun? And how might a beginner or someone interested get into it or learn more about it?
Okay, so puppy play. I mean, so you have a dog, right? Puppy play at the very core is about play. It's about having fun. Whenever someone's just getting into it, generally you just ask them, well, what does a dog look like when they start playing? And everyone will have a different reaction and response because every puppy's a little bit different. Everyone has a different personality. Some are very playful, some are very serious. It's not about actual dogs. It is a role play, a headspace like we were talking about before, a kind of mindset that you go to in order to enjoy an experience. And no sexual acts involve dogs whatsoever. It's always humans interacting with other humans. Puppy play isn't really about gender, it's not about your genitalia, it's not about your sexuality.
But what it looks like is a group of people wrestling on mats and being playful. For some, the drawing factor is the wrestling. Some love the calm that comes with cuddling up and having a type of meditative state. And others still enjoy the primal, beastly characteristics that can come with the playful to sexual nature of puppy play.
A puppy is about unconditional love. It's about being playful, it's about being cuddly, it's about being kind of curious and just having a good time. But I say all that with the caveat that some people do enjoy playing sexually when it comes to puppy play. And that's where that collar and leash that you have might come in handy. So now let's talk about gear. Of course, different kinds of collars like this one. And what's a puppy without a tail? And tails also come in different kinds of shapes, sizes, and attachments. This one right here is an insertable. It goes exactly where you think, and it's both pleasurable when it wiggles and can be fun to put in. A hood is one of the best ways to get a puppy into headspace and kind of one of the best ways to bring a personality out. Kind of the same way a drag queen puts on their makeup and then puts on a persona. A puppy mask can really help someone get into a headspace, and they come in all sorts of shapes, sizes, colors, and material. This right here is a latigo, so a thick leather hood. Some of my favorite are the neoprene, and this is almost like a wetsuit material. It's safe for swimming in, which is really fun, and it comes in literally any color and combination you could think of. And then for those rubber puppies, we have latex. It stretches. Also, look, it wiggles really. Those ears. And then, of course, to play, romp around, get on all fours, and really get into your puppy headspace, there's mitts, there's knee pads to keep your body safe. Being on all fours is very hard on the body, so you have to be really good about just protecting yourself preemptively. But that's all information you can find online. But I will send all those links to Ash to share with you guys if you're really interested.
I also got all these toys in the mail. I'm excited for this one. This one seems like it could be a good time. Look at all these different speeds. I like the way this one feels. It's like soft and smooth and velvety. I like it. I've never had a sex pillow before, so this will be cool. It's good for positioning your partner and yourself and getting comfortable. At least that's what people tell me. It feels comfy. Now that we've seen all the super fun toys I got, I'm wondering, Amp, how does a person keep bondage, BDSM, kink, role-playing, rough sex, etc. safe?
First off, you should always establish consent. When I talk about safety in kink, I always say that kinks are not safe, they are just more safe in the way that you practice them and how you negotiate and talk about what you're going to do with your partners. So along with all of that communication comes the consent that you talk about. And consent is not something that is taken, it is something that is given. It can also be taken back. If a scene becomes unsafe, if some point that just feels wrong, you can take that consent back and you can say no, you can say you're done, and you can always use a safe word. And safe words are something that as soon as they are said, the scene stops. And that is something that you, I think, should always have within a scene because you never know when something might go wrong. I believe in safe words. I think safe words can be right and they can work in the right circumstances, but I also think that if you're doing everything right, you won't ever need to use a safe word. Using things like red meaning stop, yellow meaning I'm getting kind of to my limit, and green meaning you're totally good and fine to go. You know, do what works for you. So how do you keep all of these actions and kinks safe? Well, educate yourself. The same way that you're not gonna go scuba diving without educating and practicing and learning how to swim, don't practice kinks without first learning some knots, learning some aftercare, learning how to treat people that might need extra attention after a scene, and know what kinks are a little too dangerous to just practice by yourself. For instance, choking, anything that involves like puncturing or knives. I tend to avoid those. Any incredibly long-term bondage can do nerve damage if you're not doing it right. Know your safety concerns. Know some CPR, at least some basic CPR. Like that is, if anything goes wrong, always know how to at least help or get help.
Yeah. If you liked any of the toys that you've seen in this video, I actually got them all from adamandeve.com. Spawn vid, spawn!
I'm sorry, I can't be perfect.
Feel free to browse around on their website if you're interested in any of these things, and if you use the discount code ASH, you can get 50% off any one item and free shipping within the US and Canada. Hoo! Thank you, Amp. Now, why don't you plug yourself?
No, thank you. I really appreciated kind of coming on and talking about kinks and what gets me excited up here and sometimes down there. If you want to find me online, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Tumblr, everything is pup_amp. And of course, check out our channel, What's the Safe Word, over here on YouTube. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
We also did a video over there on kinky versus vanilla relationships. You should definitely go watch it, do it, or I will get out my new whip and spank you.
Hey there, ho there, before you go there, don't forget to click that link. The YouTube algorithm works in very strange ways. A click's the best way to give Ash Hardell your praise. So hey, ho, before you go, don't forget to click that link.